What's up, SNA fans? This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another video, and this is episode 168 of the SNA podcast, which is the wrestling news video, part 62, where I'm be talking about the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors that you SNA fans need to know from the Wrestling Inc. Article. We're going to start off today with A Steel comments on AEW Brawlout and CM Punk's return to WWE. And it says right here onto this first article, Ace Steel worked in AEW as a producer until his release in September. His departure coming shortly after the firing of CM Punk. The pair were both involved in Punk's easier backstage, not easy, earlier backstage altercation at All Out 2022. My apologies. After which Punk was suspended and Steele was also fired from the company until he briefly returned earlier this year. Ace opened up on his experience working with AEW in an appearance on wrestling with Rip Rogers. Like Ace still had to say this. Well, I worked with a lot of great people. Some great, some not so much. Like he said he before explaining his stance on the all out altercation. Like family still exists in this business. There are things none of us can say, and none of us will. You know. I think my wife's the the only the only one who could probably tell us the story the story since she was there. Maybe someday a still assures the both he and someday a still assures that both he and Punk emerged from the situation just fine, ci- uh, citing their legal rep, 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 repre- representation from Stefan Layer lawyer lawyer from lawyer Stefan P. With lawyer Stefan P. New. However, regarding the brawlout incident, he said not to f with family. Punk began his training with the steel domin, do, domin, dominant dominant wrestling school and sat under the learning tree of Ace Steel in 1999. They also worked together in Ring of Honor before Punk's Punk's first spell with WWE. The Second City Saint returned to WWE at Survivor Series War Games last month, ending a 9-year absence from the promotion, to which Ace Steel shared immense pride by saying, I'm very I'm very proud of my number one student that I've ever coached in the world for heading back to show show the world who who the F he is. The the reason the reason where the reason people hate him or whatever whatever is whatever is he's not about the bull sugar honey iced tea, and the guy doesn't take any or not any, but my version of this, but I should say doesn't take sugar honey iced tea, and he doesn't take it lightly. And when you've when you've have enough sugar honey iced tea, you you either explode or you take care of business yourself, and you defeat, or you not defeat, I mean I'm saying defend yourself. The brawl altercation occurred after CM Punk took aim at AEW EVPs Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks at the All Out 2022 post-show press conference. There are conflicting uh, uh, accounts as to how how the situation played out in its entirely, but it's alleged that Omega and the Young Bucks confronted Punk in, in in his locker room following the comments in the room with Punk was a Steel and his wife uh, life and his wife Lucky Guy. I mean not Lucky Guy, Lucy Guy. Well, I said Lucy Guy, and his wife Lucy Guy was has I mean has, as he previously touched on. It's supposed that those who were AEW employees at the time are legally forbidden from detailing the actual happening but still joked it might air on a future docu series, and said you might hear something. I'm sure it's gonna be on effing dark side of the ring someday. I I'm la- I laughed I laughed at the time going all this sugar honey iced teas are gonna be on dark side of the ring someday. You know, someone's going to want to know. The backstage incident spur, spurred several reports do- documenting different aspects after the fact. Some of which, although un, uns unspecified, A still said, where un where un where untrue. He noted that he had to to private to privatize his ex formerly known as Twitter account following the backlash and in opinion that no one can consider his mental health like when they when they were putting stories out. He said no one no one gave a sugar honey iced tea about my mental health. When that went on, he said, before asking why his departure uh, deserved deserved so much attention. I used to work for AT&T as a manager for 10 years. I was a high end manager of fiber slicers. Like no one no one knows why I left that position. That's that's not re- reported out there. Nope. No one knows why you left this place to go work at this place. Why does come on, dang it? Why
June, I'm gonna sick of their ass. Why is your daddy up at the hospital being narcissistic and being weird and crazy as fuck? He'll go up there to KU to see her and be up there with him. But when he has gone out there for y'all, and y'all, I guess y'all didn't answer the phone, or you answered the phone and told you didn't
call back? I forgot.
He
Yes.
said he's gonna call you back later or something you didn't answer.
I didn't.
He starts shit. He's still doing that shit.
He's still doing that from 20 years ago.
Yeah. And,
Why did he call?
I said, yeah, when my chef start asking why my assignments ain't done, then y'all can fucking talk to them. And then he got your brother hurt on the phone. Because there's chefs that ask me fucking questions. There's people that ask me shit behind people's back. Like, what the fuck's going on? People don't want to hear that shit. They don't want to hear that other people get off from Denver, Colorado, or Illinois, or extra shit. All I do is tell them people one thing, and they're like, well, we're going to get the authority, the proper authority involved, and then you're going to be removed. Like, you ain't going to have a choice. You have to get all your shit and leave. Do people want that?
And Bernie is doing all right.
Yeah, he's fine.
Okay, just making sure.
Did he sleep?
Yes.
No, he won't come back. He went back to sleep.
Oh, we're
I'm
back.
not trying to blab and wake him up again.
Right.
But anyway, y'all motherfuckers keep talking shit. I'm like, get the fuck away from me with your crazy ass.
Exactly.
See, and they're mad because all that bullshit ain't working.
Right.
Like they said, I slept with the one that thinks he's the rock or whatever, the delusional motherfucker.
Right.
And then that crazy motherfucker that think he's Shawn Michaels. I didn't sleep with either one of them. And now these weirdos, they can't get their way. So it's time to get the fuck up out of here. Like I told you, it's time to fucking go. These motherfuckers have lost their motherfucking, GD mind.
Okay, I'll be.
Dude, I'm trying to tell you.
I know. I'm
And
missing.
then I'm like, okay, I tried to call his stupid ass last week to tell him about his bullshit.
I'm up to call just to shut it down.
He didn't answer.
Is it?
I know. I came to get you to tell you what the fuck's going on so I can't wear no bullshit, no games on you.
Hey, no, I get you.
Well, him and your brother up there together at the hospital, they crazy ass hospital. They're at the hospital. Because I see he ain't no motherfucking man. Exactly. Hello? Hello? You know why? Look at you should hear the wrong thing. Exactly. It's him who gets the last second. run down fucking apartment over in the zoo. The lady situation that.
Again, I'm sick of this shit.
Oh, hello? Hello?
I'm trying to do my podcast, but people all the time.
Motherfucker, your brain. Motherfucker, your brain.
Do really need my talking to say.
Hey, you know what? Both of them first. They both first. And I told you. They always interrupt you. They ain't doing medical stuff.
Exactly. That's how they have any sympathy. It's a me. Yeah. But I think they can I was like, what? Hey, like, I'm fucking asleep. Let's go. If I know that, I'll call him back. And then show it over.
Yeah, you got to learn about his bed. Fucking sleep. Crazy motherfucker.
I think y'all the talk. I'm gonna apologize to you, but see what I can do with this. Okay? But I know what you're talking
You
about.
know what's wrong with shit.
Anyway.
You know what about both of them. I was wrong with shit. And then when I said, find out my phone. I got that.
Then prove it. I'm gonna go.
I got two. I showed you two. I'm telling you, I got two assignments.
I know that's two.
Two.
You told me from a couple of days ago. Yeah,
I told you. I said, I don't time to bullshit. I got two assignments doing what we got over the 6 weeks. We do a weekend. And that wrapped up. That's the 20th. Boom.
That's why I'm looking on.
I know. They're trying to stop us.
Exactly, like usual. Let's piss me off.
No. Because we're making progress. And
That's why I see
got
that.
this job. And then he fucking misses work. And they are rolling that
For some pussy.
Yeah.
That's what he basically wants.
You know what I'm saying? He missed work several times. And they told us if you miss again, then you gonna get out of here. That's why he takes that because this is his last straw. Because he keeps missing work at all these jobs. And he always tries to blame everybody else for making him miss work. I walked the one. The last job we had, we didn't ask him to do shit. She was asking him to do shit. And that's true. And that proves it. That proves it. They're like, your mom and brother, they don't ask you shit. And it's that alcohol. I just back that bottle. When he was on the phone, the Lord said, it's that.
Yeah. Like, even if you have one good,
Yeah.
the people,
Exactly.
even small.
Yeah. If you enjoy the house for 11 years, where they at, you still be doing this stupid ass shit. The people told you that. They said, that you and Julie.
We witnessed it.
They said, yeah, you and Julie is video. I can't. It's hard there. And I walk off. And he knows I know. He seen me. I said, I can't. And he knows. Yeah. And I know about the problem. And I know everybody there talking. It ain't the mom. I bet they be taking it. If you want to go to the mom or the sister, it's them too.
Exactly. With you.
You see me and you get in a situation?
No.
You see us doing it stupid that shit. And that nasty little piece of shit. And that weird bitch. I know that motherfucker.
Oh,
That's the same. And Laura said it's like 31, 33. They think all black people look like, and they want to talk some bullshit. Well, I could have done, I was a captain, but that's
I was the only did last night. Better that be safe. That's younger.
And another thing, you ain't even here.
Yeah.
So how the hell you gonna be over there?
I do grandpa.
Yeah, your grandpa.
Exactly.
But my grandson went down there, he was in Kansas City with me.
Exactly. Right? Okay, I'm back doing my podcast.
Okay, sorry, I'm back. I had to do a favor for my mother, but I'm back doing this wrestling news. Sorry about that. And where was I at? Oh, yeah. Finished where I just started. He said, no one gave a sugar honey iced tea about me, my mental health. When that went on, he said, before asking why his departure deserved so much attention, which he said, I used to work for as a manager at AT&T for 10 years. I was a high-end manager, like fiber slicers. Slicer. No one knows why I left that position. That's not reported like out like there. No one knows why you left this place to go work at this place. Uh, why does the why does it effing matters? What's your thoughts about Ace Steel saying that onto this interview? And do you agree with him, or do you think that he was in the wrong? And do you think he really he started the whole fight when news was speculating about him biting Kenny Omega and throwing the chair in Nick Jackson's face, I believe. Yeah. And what do you think about what do you think about him giving praise to CM Punk's return to WWE? Like of what he said onto this news. He said him supporting and being in WWE, and he's still his family through thick and thin. He referred that he was messing with his family Punk. It's someone that he thought of him like a brother. I think perhaps like someone that he been training with for years because he's been his personal trainer for that long, and he'll be damned if he be's in a situation that it'll be damn if we leave him in a situation like that, being in a situation on his own, and he'll be sticking with the side. But I think even if the elite started this fight, I don't think biting the enemies of your friend would be a necessary kind of self-defense. It's one thing to start fighting, but biting is going way too far. Like to say, in my opinion, but I'm not sure who to believe. But yeah, he also said that he could one day be on. One day, this story could be on what's that on a Dark Side of the Ring series. Like it could be on a docu-series like the Dark Side of the Ring, or about or what's that, a biography of like either the Elite or Ace Steel, CM Punk, perhaps. But I think probably would be in the Dark Side of the Ring, which don't rule out anything. They did all kinds of documentaries of let's look at Ric Flair playing Ride from Hell, or the tragedy of Chris Benoit, or name it, or the Montreal Screwjob, and any other things, controversial incidents that happen in professional wrestling. I wouldn't really doubt, even in just give it about a decade for now, and then you'll see that, and you'll see any other controversial incidents happen, whether if it's from WWE or AEW, happened in the past decade. Because it only just happened in the past couple of years of what things went down in the wrestling history books in recent years. Just name them, which I wouldn't name them at the moment, but I would say my opinion, like that old saying goes in wrestling, never say never. But on the Dark Side of the Ring, they're also using that term by putting some some inside documentary stories about wrestlers in their lives, or even what happened outside of the ring, back inside, what goes on off screen, what went down, by hearing some stories from the wrestlers and I'll say from the wrestlers in their stories, on what exactly went down, which some of them would give and share some stories to tell onto the docu-series because they want to, or I would say, or I could say that excuse me, or I could say like them and their stories, like or we could hear it from somebody that was close to them that told exactly what happened, so they can help out the producers and the documentary producers of the Dark Side of the Ring. And and what your thought about? Do you want to see them on the Dark Side of the Ring for those who watch the show? Which I don't really watch the show because like it's not really something that I really had interest in before. But maybe one day I could try it out. Who knows? Like I was like, I would just try for the interesting side. Like if I want to hear some like some inside stories from them, from them, and see what I think. And perhaps I would make a video of it with things that I learned from the Dark Side of the Ring. But I wouldn't. As a matter of fact, like I wouldn't mind even watching it though. Like if they ever made a Dark Side of the Ring episode called the All Out Brawl Out with CM Punk and Ace Steel going at with Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, and which I think that's a perfect name to name the episode, like they did with the Plane Ride from Hell. Even though they nearly cost Ric Flair his reputation in the wrestling business, even though it may have been true, but they kind of humiliated him in a way. But I'm not saying I have anything against Dark Side of the Ring. Just saying, like, but it was the truth. Like, and they're doing something just to make content, just to just just to just to bring the eye and the interest of wrestling fans so they can make content on their YouTube channel or any social platforms. Well, I'm not sure if that's any reason why, but they did it because they probably have a passion for wrestling and learn the reality side of things, like whether if it's like before or after the wrestler's wrestling career or during their career, of course. But yeah, sound off in the comments below. We're gonna move on to the next wrestling. Let's move on to the next wrestling, and it is why AEW's Nick Wayne says Christian Cage's brain is like no other. Christian Cage's brain is like no other. It says right into his article, as Nick Wayne continues to adjust to his recent character shift, he has benefit of being paired with 28-year-old veteran 28-year-old veteran, like I think they meant to say 48-year-old veteran Christian Cage, but I'm kind of confused from this saying it's 28. Oh, not 28-year-old. I'm saying I need my reading glasses. Anyways, with 28-year veteran Christian Cage, okay, that makes sense. It didn't say old. I thought it said 28-year veteran Christian Cage, who has since dubbed Wayne as the Prodigy, which is a nickname he perhaps stole from a certain female that's formerly held the NXT Women's Championship, by the way. But anyways, during an appearance on casual conversations with the Classic, Wayne opened up about his experience working with Cage, detailing some of the specific guidance he's received like from him so far. And he said, Christian's brain is like no other. With wrestling, with promo, with longevity, like Wayne said, him alongside Adam Copeland and Sting have have been doing it for years, like for decades even. They know what's best. They know what works. They know how to be successful, because all three of them are very successful in the sport. When you look at them and you have the opportunity to be under their learning tree, you you should just sit there and be quiet and just have your ears open. That's what that's what I try to do every Wednesday and every Saturday with Christian. His promo are pretty brutal, but they are structured very nice. Promos have been something that I don't want to say is a weak point of mine. Like, but I didn't do many on the independents, like in trying to get used to that. I feel like Christian is the best to help me with what that, and does which I'm very thankful for thankful for. The ongoing story surrounding Wayne Cage, Kill Switch, formerly known as uh, Luchasaurus, and Adam Copeland took a dramatic turn last week when Adam Copeland challenged Cage for the TNT Championship on AEW Dynamite, with the referee Mo momentarily taken out. Nick Wayne's mother, Shayna Wayne, entered the ring, seizing the opportunity to nail Copeland with the in the head with Cage's title. Cage then laid out Copeland with a kill switch and stomp on his neck, right, and retaining his TNT championship. But I'll say, yeah, ever since then, I'll say, ever since Nick Wayne been on AEW, whether if he was the protege of Darby Allin or even Christian Cage, he's been well known as him being in AEW. Like, he's been like starting to be a memorable name. Like, if he's like their Dominic Mysterio, with him turning on his protege, turning on his mentor, I should say, his longtime friend and mentor, which is Darby Allin. Like, he turned on him just to just to align with the new mentor, Christian Cage, but yeah, Christian Cage, which he's starting to be more being like well established, like being with Christian Cage, and even mocking his father by saying like his father was very terrible, and and he needs to be taught by a real man, and someone that's actually been experienced in the pro wrestling business. And then this, like, which made Nick Wayne disrespect his mother, saying like, I don't need you anymore. Like, you're a terrible mother. Like Dominic Mysterio tells his mother, which is the wife of Ray, Angie Mysterio. But yeah, and I was like, and the only thing I don't get though, like what makes it nonsensical is, I know it, like, which what makes it nonsensical, even though he attacked her son, but at the same time, why would she attack Adam Copeland, and why she had anything to do with the match? Even though he concertoed her son, and I know she's trying to get justice for him, but that doesn't mean you help out the man that's trying to brainwash your son, and that's been doing so, and doing it successfully. So like I don't get like your son deserved it for disrespecting you, and then Adam Copeland had some issues with his own. Well, on his own with Christian Cage, and he was making an example out of him. Like if he thinks he's gonna be attacking me like a grown man, he's gonna get beaten like a grown man. And same with Kill Switch, formerly known as Luchasaurus. But yeah, like I don't get that part though. But I think he's getting somewhat successful, like for being a rookie, like a rookie prodigy. And whether if he's a baby face or a heel, which I think maybe it'll be best for him to be a heel because it's easy. Like what Soraya said, it's easy to get booed than get cheered. Like it's once you get cheered and be turned into a baby face, you appreciate every moment of it and appreciate every moment of it, and you do not want to mess anything up about it. So you make sure you get that. You make sure you get what's that word? Like you do everything you can for your best to make sure you're the like you make sure you do everything you can to stay that way, like into a baby face persona. What's your thoughts about Nick Wayne's experience with him facing the likes of Sting and Adam Copeland by teaming with Christian Cage? Y'all let me know down in the comments below. Which I think he's doing I think he's having a fun time and doing successfully great in the process. And I think with him training inside the ring for the past few years, like has been paying off. Like for in a wrestling perspective side of things, if you know what I mean, like into the reality side of wrestling, yeah. But anyways, let's move on to the next wrestling news, and it is WWE's Randy Orton on relationship with Rey Mysterio's development of Dominic Mysterio. Randy Orton and Rey Mysterio have crossed paths several times in the ring since both debuting in WWE in 2002. Uh, Notably, Mysterio pinned Orton in a triple threat match at WrestleMania 22 to capture the World Heavyweight Championship. For the first time in his career, during a recent appearance on Logan Paul's Impulsive podcast, the Viper brought up his friendship with Rey Mysterio, or with Rey Mysterio when he was asked about Dominic. Like he said, his dad, his dad and I are tight. Like he's probably the only guy back there that's friendlier than Omos, of course. Like Orton said in a joking, I mean not joking, but in a laughing moment, I should say. I would say joking because that means like he would give the compliment to Omos, which I mean, don't get me wrong, he probably the other friendly guy, but I think, but what he's saying is Rey Mysterio is like the friendliest as of them all. But anyways, let's continue. Like, is it? He's like Ray took care of me back in the day, so I wrestled Dom on Raw just like from that past Monday. I don't I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but it was such a pleasure to be out there with him and just to get to be out there knowing knowing like, oh my god, I know your dad's at work watching. I want to make your dad proud. It was a great feeling. He also added, I'm I'm so proud of Dom as well when he first started he started coming up, and Ray brought him around. He continued, "It's like this kid needs another effing 10 years, and he needs to go fight in a war or something and come back grizzled. He's he's got it now. Like Orton's match against Dominic Mysterio last week, Raw came two days, like 2 days after the 14-time world champion returned from his back injury, at Survivor Series. The Viper was part of the winning War Games team at Survivor Series after 18 months of absence, but what are your thoughts on Randy Orton? What are your thoughts about Randy Orton's experience of wrestling Dominic Mysterio? Which some of y'all said like Super Ninja Austin. Like, why you didn't say talk about this on the SNA podcast video from the other article? Well, I didn't see it on the other article, so I didn't see it on the other article. Otherwise, I would have read it to you guys. But now I got this article and I finally read it to you guys on Wrestling Inc. So yeah, hopefully none of y'all won't criticize me in the comments below, and I'm gonna give you a reason why I'm reading it now and not the other day. And I just got it in onto the Wrestling Inc. Article. But yeah, he said like Rey Mysterio was like. All right, what are your thoughts about him like having positive things about Rey Mysterio and him helping him in his journey in professional wrestling in WWE? Let me know in the comments down below on that, and also, leave a comment about that, and also, what are your thoughts about his experience against Dominic Mysterio? Like, which he said it was a pleasure to face a longtime best friend's son, even though he's very disrespectful and very evil at this time. Like in kayfabe perspective, of course, in kayfabe. But anyways, well, let's move on to the next wrestling news, and let's move on to some Mommy Rhea Ripley reaction news about her Dom Doms lost the WWE NXT North American title at Deadline last night, which I made a review on that. Make sure y'all check that out for those who haven't watched it already. This is where, but we're going to talk about the next news, and it says about while Dominic Mysterio is no longer the holder of the NXT North American Championship, Rhea Ripley remains internally proud of his efforts this year in 2023. Last night, Mysterio defended the NXT North American Championship against Dragon Lee in the opening contest of NXT Deadline. Unfortunately for Mysterio, this title defense came out the unusual excuse me, the accompaniment of the Judgment Day stablemates, like providing a clear pathway for Lee to dethrone him. Despite her her initial disappointment in the match result, Rhea Ripley later provided some encouraging words to her now titleless teammate, like by wrote on Twitter, I am Am I upset, sad, mad? Yes, but but, Do- but Dominic Mysterio has been the biggest workhorse within WWE all year. His growth has been insane. Very, very proud. Forever, my champ. Rhea wrote on X, formerly known as Twitter, like along alongside a black and white graphic of himself in I mean of her not himself herself of herself in Mysterio. I'm gonna try to call her a she. My apologies, but yeah, I'm sorry to say that. My bad, but yeah. Just don't show Seth Rollins, which he would correct her on this and say he's been the workhorseman in WWE for the like the most vast majority of of 2023. Of course, my apologies of of dragging that out. But anyways, this but yeah, also Ripley's sentiment closely echoed those recent shared by WWE Hall of Famer Booker T and Shawn Michaels, both of whom like labeled like Mysterio as the MVP of WWE. I would say in the heel side of things, perhaps so. I'll say with his heel work and him as the villain as heel, I would agree. I'll say perhaps he's doing a really good job, like when it comes to his character. Like he's making fans hate him and boo him every time they be in attendance and as a fan into every arena. Like especially when he talks on the microphone, they give him a loud reaction, like how much they do dislike him, like saying boo. Like ever since he betrayed his father, like from over a year ago. Like I'll say I agree. Like he's the what's that word? He's the he's really the he brings the legitimacy. I'll say he brings the legitimacy into this character, if that makes sense, of course. Like he's making it so real to the point that you probably think he acts like this in real life. Like, but he don't. I bet he don't really act like this per se. But I think like if you interview him, he probably still be on his character like MJF was when he was the heel. But like just for that comparison, but like which I'm not sure if I should bring more comparisons. I just say on his that side in this side in WWE, he's gonna bring that. He's gonna bring that when it comes to him being a heel. He's gonna successfully capitalize onto this persona. Like he's gonna do whatever he can, like whatever fits in his mold to make out this character shape into this in, into this into this industry in professional wrestling or sports entertainment or sports entertainment of like the sports entertainment side of or sports entertainment, whatever you want to call it, like pro wrestling or sports entertainment, it really doesn't matter. Yeah. But anyways, Michaels also dubbed Mysterio as an Iron Man for NXT this year, like referring like Mysterio's hard work and professionalism as evidence like of his serious deck like his dedication, dedication, his dedication to WWE. Mysterio hard work would also earn him 2 reigns as NXT North American champion. Across his appearances on NXT, Raw, and SmackDown, and even live events like house shows, like when I went like last year with my brother, his girlfriend, and our uncle. Like like we were there, like, and this is where Dominic Mysterio was telling us to shut up and watch his mommy and the Punisher Damian Priest fought Dolph Ziggler and Nikki ASH, which she was at the time before she went back as her Nikki Cross persona, because this was like around October, like when she when it was when Nikki Cross was still Nikki ASH. But yeah, they won like with Dolph Ziggler and Nikki ASH won the match with Dolph Ziggler hitting Damian Priest with the most devastating move in all of sports entertainment, the surprise roll-up. But unfortunately, the Judgment Day started to beat them down, sadly, and left them down in the ring. But yeah, it was a really fun match. Like, me and my brother and uncle were very hyped about it, especially when Dolph Ziggler countered out of Damian Priest's move and hit the zigzag on it. But yeah, but the point is, like, Dominic Mysterio was just like himself, and Finn, and then me and my uncle was making fun of him and Finn Balor, saying like, "You're not no demon, you're not no prince, like you're not what you used to be. Like, you were more cooler before you joined this sorry excuse of a faction." Yeah, and he was like, "Why?" And I was like, "Why did you betray your father for Rhea Ripley?" I'm done. Like, yeah, it was very funny. But yeah, but anyways, back to the videos. Mysterio has wrestled 102 matches for WWE so far this year. The second most of 2023. The only WWE superstar to exceed it, like Mysterio's number of performances, is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, who currently stand with 104 matches under his belt this year. Wow, Dominic Mysterio is catching up with Cody Rhodes right now at 102 matches, while Cody Rhodes is up to 104. Wow, I did not know that until looking at the numbers on this article. But anyways, like, yeah, Dominic Mysterio, like, I was like, I gotta admit, like, he's been killing it as this heel gimmick, like, ever since betraying Dominic Mysterio, and and he he's been in the Judgment Day ever since then, and then also, like, and he even wrestled his father, like, this past year in April at WrestleMania Night 1, facing the master of the 619, his old man Rey Mysterio, and he finally got his butt spanked, something that me, Michael Cole, and the Great One wanted to see ever since he betrayed his father, and he finally did so at the grandest stage of them all. And also, after that, he wrestled the likes of Cody Rhodes and even Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, I think, for a championship contenders match for the World Heavyweight Championship, until soon after, like, he faced Wes Lee for the North American Championship, even though he got cheated out of by the Judgment Day. And then he beat him for the title. And this is where he got a rematch. Like, he successfully retained, and even at Great American Bash, like, when he faced both not only Wes Lee, but also Mustafa Ali, like, which we had some help from Rhea Ripley. And he retained out of that championship match until he faced Trick Williams a couple of years ago. I mean, not a couple of years ago. I'm talking about a couple of months ago. A couple of months ago, which was a couple of months later after that. Like, and he hit that knee strike just to get the win, like he did at the Iron Survivor match when he got the last fall over Braun Breaker, getting 4 wins in a row, like making a huge comeback, which I thought I would never see from any wrestler in the industry would do. Like what if it's an Iron Man match or even a Iron Survivor match? But yeah, and I think I think Wes Lee suffered a legitimate injury that's gonna put him on the shelf for a little while for the next few months. But he won the number 1 contenders match against Big Bronson Reed, Cameron Grimes, and Johnny Gargano in a four-way match. But unfortunately, due to injuries on his leg, I believe, because he was walking with what was it, a crutch, I believe. But yeah, he was walking down the ring with. He's gonna need some. The injury so bad to the point he's gonna need some surgery, and it's gonna leave him out of action for a while, like at least for half a year from now. So we're not gonna see him being back in the ring anytime soon. Even for the surgery was successful and him was surely healing. Like he's going to be surely healing out of that injury afterwards, but that's going to probably take about a few months for him to recover from that, and he's not going to be back into the ring for I'll say give it about about 6 months. I'll say the earliest of him coming back, whether if he makes his return to NXT or even get called up to the main roster, like whenever that time is when he makes his in-ring return from his injury. But I would but he was but something tells me the way I see this, like if Wesley didn't got injured, I would say he would have likely would have retained. Like he would, Mommy Rhea wouldn't be out there to interfere, and two, it would in reality side of things, it would probably would have been planned for him to win the championship regardless, considering the fact that he got replaced by Dragon Lee, which Wesley made an announcement with Rey Mysterio on, to Dominic Mysterio and the rest and to the NXT universe from this past Tuesday on NXT. Which Dragon Lee faced Dominic Mysterio, give him a run for his money by defeating him and become in the most impressive match. If you haven't watched my video already, I gave it the match of the night. If that men's Iron Survivor match wasn't the best match that you could have ever watched, of the night, I would have gave the North American Championship the number one match of the night. But I gave the match of the night to the Iron Survivor match, which was a great match, which we saw Trick Williams make a huge comeback. I thought he would make a huge comeback, just to lose it, by being distracted by Alexis King, revealing who attacked him. But yeah, but I guess I was wrong about that. And we're not going to see who exactly attacked Trick Williams until when he has his match against Ilya Dragunov at New Year's Eve at the first Tuesday of January. But yeah, we're gonna see about that. Let me know. Continue in the comments down below. But yeah, let me know what y'all think about Dominic Mysterio so far in 2023, and do you agree with the likes of Rhea and Rhea, Booker T, and even Shawn Michaels? Y'all sound off in the comments down below. But we're going to move on to the next. We're going to move on to Court Brewer contrast WWE's current talent pool from when he was in creative. Long before he filed an antitrust lawsuit against WWE, Court Brewer was a member of WWE's creative team at the time when WWE was competing for eyeballs with WCW in the Monday Night Wars, make that a plural. This was also the era when WWE did not develop the talents at its WWE Performance Center, and instead just recruited, I should say, them from other promotions and threw them into the fire on WWE television. In a recent interview with Busted Open Radio, Brewer detailed the difference between how WWE's creative team developed characters in the late 90s, like as compared to today's era. They they have done a era, and he said they have done a great job of recruiting and scouting talents, like developing them in the performance center, and now they're thriving because so many of those guys are headliners. Brewer said, "When I was part of the WWE creative team." Part of the creative team, we're on WWE's creative team. We were trying to make make the most out of the roster. Today, today they have an embarrassment of riches. Like they have such great talent there. Brewer admitted that although he had the benefit of sharing the WWE writers a room with veterans like such as Paul Heyman, Dusty Rhodes, Michael Hayes, Ted DiBiase, the Million Dollar Man, and Bruce Pritchard. The formula the formula used to be WWE to develop talents was a lot more challenging 2 decades ago. We had some great minds in there, but these were people who saw raw talent and and figured out how to package them and and make them stars. Brewer recalled, and that process was so special to see. And of course, the WWE machine starts to crank up, and when they want to make someone, it's very powerful. The MLW boss stressed that raw talent are being op- 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 optimized better in 2023. WWE due to the resources at the company's dis- disposal. That said, he will appreciate the eye talent that it that for talent that his past colleagues relied upon to build stars. And what do you think about? And what's your thoughts on the him of Court Brewer? Brewer's take about the differences between the creative team today, the from to the differences between the creative team today and the creative team from the past over 20 years ago, like 20 and a half years ago, I should say. Y'all let me know down in the comments below. And he also complimented on saying the storylines and the booking in general is starting to get more and more better now. And I'm saying it's rising now, like with talent, like no matter what their age are, like if they have a talent and they have character like along with it and their personality with their catchphrase and when them talking on the microphone, like telling a story, like that with that itself, like like he's saying he likes it all, like and with that and it Like, if they ever had a talent like that, like which they during the Attitude Era, like when they were going face to face with WCW, like with the likes of having Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock, and even Triple H and The Undertaker and them in that era, like developing stars like that, like especially in a young age, like it was very special to them. Like for being a creative with the likes of Bruce Pritchard, the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, and who was it? He said it was, and there was another guy in the creative team that he named. Oh yeah, Michael Hayes and Dusty Rhodes and Paul Heyman. Like in his time, but I'll say I would say but more likely like Michael Hayes and Michael Hayes, Bruce Pritchard, and the $1 Million Man. But yeah, what y'all thoughts about that? And what times is better? Like when it comes to creative side of things, which we all know what was the GOAT of professional wrestling, and that was the Attitude Era, along with the Ruthless Aggression Era afterwards. But yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. But don't get me wrong, like nowadays wrestling in WWE and even AEW killing it too. Even though there's not that much fans decline, it's just the preference kind of thing. Like they all have their, it's like having their own flavor. Like you like one kind, like it's like a kind of flavor ice cream comparisons. Like some might like strawberry, some might like chocolate. Like you're gonna like which one you're gonna like. Like some might go to strawberry ice cream, and then the other one's gonna go to chocolate ice cream. Like and not really, and then the one that likes the favorite flavor, they either like the other flavor more or they don't like the other flavor, and that's why they like this flavor, the opposite even, and vice versa. But anyways. That's how they're liking with AE. Like most wrestlers are WWE fans for the fact it's been a wrestling corporation for decades, while AEW's been there for like a few years. But there's some of the the hardcore wrestling fans that likes the AEW product, and it's like something different than WWE, and they probably prefer that. But then there's some wrestlers like me. I mean, some wrestling fans that are like me that likes both products and wants to watch them in a weekly base, like Raw, SmackDown, and maybe even NXT including. And then same with Dynamite and Collision, and maybe even Rampage. Which that's what AEW and WWE, they're trying to give you that variety. Like even though it brings so much wrestling, like perhaps maybe too much wrestling, but at the same time, it's a kind of wrestling that excuse me, have your interest. But yeah. But yeah, it's killing it too. But yeah, if it hadn't been for, I gotta give credit when it's due. If it hadn't been for the Attitude Era, in the Ruthless Aggression Era, I'm not sure if it would have been any the now day era in WWE, which I believe all the wrestlers these days now respect that from the older guys in the wrestling business and the creative team, and what helped create the establishment that it is today. But anyway, we got some more news about WWE star Seth Rollins addressed assets possibilities of mending fences with CM Punk. There is no love lost between Seth Rollins and CM Punk when the latter returned at WWE Survivor Series War Games 2023. Rollins was visibly upset to see the former AEW star. While speaking to Sports Illustrated, the WWE World Heavyweight Champion revealed that there are real life tensions between him and CM Punk. Still, he considered overcoming their issues so they can do business. Yeah. Okay.
Cause I need to get some stuff for y'all, brunch or whatever.
Okay.
And I'll be right back.
Okay, you go ahead. I can keep an eye on
Yeah,
it.
that's what
I am. Yeah.
Please do. I want to keep this door cracked so you can keep an eye.
Mm-hmm.
He's still asleep right now.
Okay.
But I'll be back in a few minutes.
Okay.
All right.
Gladly to. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You keep the door cracked so Trey you can come in.
Yeah, that's fine. But anyways, he said, I mean, it's a negotiation for sure. Like it's a conversation. Rollins said, "No one's forcing something on you, but I am a businessman for sure." I think I already read this. I forget which wrestling news article was it, but it was a few days ago, which I think it could be Ringside News or Sportskeeda. But I'm just gonna read this anyways because this is the most hot topic in the wrestling news as of late. So why not add it to the list of the wrestling news? But I'm just gonna continue talking about it right here. But anyways, he said, "I'm open to do business if it's there to be done and shot or shoot. That's a shot. It's two O's, my bad. And shoot." Man, I'm open to mending fences if that's even possible. According to Rollins, Punk talked down about him and the WWE for years, while is why they have animosity. He said he felt insulted by the way Punk treated him, and some of his friends highlighting the drama between Punk and Colt Cabana as an example. However, he also doesn't want to spend the rest of his life holding grudges against Punk and is open to conversing with the man, and said, "I'm almost 38 years old, and I ain't got the time to hold all these grudges. So I think it's a lot of energy to hold that negativity in, and I'd like to put that energy somewhere else and make it positive. It it remains to be seen if Punk and Rollins will have an on-screen feud with in WWE. Right? However, it has been teased since Punk's unexpected return to the company, and many fans would love to see it happen." Rollins concluded by saying that he and Punk believe they're the best in the world, suggesting they'll battle it in the ring eventually. And do you think so? Let me know in the comments down below. And also, what are your thoughts about that? Once again, which I already talked about this. But yeah, it looks like Seth Rollins is not going to hold any negativity grudge onto the Chicago Main Star. So, because he had to face guys in the past before, that he didn't really which is the likes of Matt Riddle and even Cody Rhodes. And he could add CM Punk as the third guy that's on the number one list that he did not like with him calling him a bootlicker, and he's kissing the rear end of WWE, and also he said something, but that was in the past. Like, but he probably noticed, and he probably apologized to those backstage. But I think Seth Rollins is doing this because they're going to start a feud real soon. So I wouldn't I wouldn't take this way too serious. Like, even though they did had some real life beef before, because for the fact he said some insulting words to him along with WWE. And then also Seth Rollins called him a cancer, like when that brawl happened, and that was like months before. Like he can he made it and went back to AEW television, and after uh, all in, like when he got into a brawl altercation with what's his name, Jack Perry. Like, that's where he got released after getting suspended alongside Jack Perry, and he looks like he's about to go back to WWE at Survivor Series. But they said what he's going to do there, like, which I thought I'd say maybe return, like if Shinsuke Nakamura has a mystery opponent, but that didn't happen. So I was like, maybe it won't happen at Survivor Series. Perhaps he could make a return though, however, and and he can make a Royal Rumble or WrestleMania somehow, like what WrestleMania was talking about. And I was thinking the same thing, but nope, he made his return early, and it was at the end of the War Games match, or not, or this where the War Games, or no, it was the War Games, yeah, it was like the War Games match, like yeah. Like yeah, it was at the War Games match. Yeah, like during the War Games. After the War Games match was over. My apologies. I I apologize for that. But yeah, let me know in the comments below. The point is, yeah. Next up, we have some Paul Heyman news. Now, it's like Paul Heyman could have managed WWE Hall of Famer in WCW, and it says, and according to this news article about the special counsel of the tribal chief, like the wise man Paul Heyman, the self-proclaimed goat of wrestling managers, which I believe he is, like number one, like for him being the most popular and the most villainous manager in all of professional wrestling. But anyways, ha, has represented like more than a dozen current and future WWE Hall of Famers over the years, starting off with Brock Lesnar, CM Punk, and now Roman Reigns. And then even in the past, with Hall of Famers like The Undertaker, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Rick Rude, and Arn Anderson, and and among others, like, and even Jake Roberts as well. Jake the Snake Roberts, let me rephrase that, was also apparently close. Like also including like and others, like Jake the Snake Roberts was also apparently close to being another, as revealed by Roberts himself on his recent episode of the Snake Pit podcast. Roberts told the story of how Heyman nearly managing him in WCW, while recalling his brief stint in the Heyman operated ECW. He said, "I I was there in ECW only for there like in ECW, of course, only for two instances, like, and each time for a few hours, like Roberts recalled, like, so there wasn't." much going on there. I spent more time Paul Paul Heyman at WCW. Paul and I spoke extremely about him managing me. That was something tossed around quite a bit between us, and then I left. Roberts, while Roberts didn't provide further details on the timeline of those conversations. One can assume he was referring to his 1 year WCW stint in 1992, a time when Heyman's dangerous alliance was involved in various main event storylines on WCW programming, but Roberts spat with then WCW executive Bill Watts, led to him walk out on the company, causing his storyline with Sting and Nikita Koloff to be nixed. Robert although Roberts a heel in WCW could have been could have been could have been Roberts could have been another if not for his departure. What's your what's your take on what's your thoughts about Jake Roberts nearly becoming a Paul Heyman guy himself, except this time in WCW, when they were going head to head with WWE at the time, when Heyman's dangerous alliance was on at the time back over 31 years ago. Y'all sound off in the comment section right down below. We're going to move on to the next wrestling news, which we're going to be talking about why Eric Bischoff doesn't like mixing religion and pro wrestling. And on to this article, pro wrestling has been its fair share of religion-based storylines. Some of the examples, including Jake Roberts being a born again Christian in 1996, Vince McMahon unveiling himself as the higher power of the ministry of darkness, and also Reverend Devon Dudley serving as a spiritual advisor and preacher as well, and even the time when Goldust turned to an evangelist, like an evangelist, I believe. Evangelist. I hope I pronounced that correctly. My apologies if I didn't. To save him from his sinful ways. There was also the time when Shawn Michaels would team up with God in a battle against the McMahon family. While some of these storylines have memorable payoffs, former WCW president Eric Bischoff was never fond of wrestling promoters invoking religion. Speaking on his 83 Weeks podcast, Bischoff recalled the time when Farouk and Bradshaw of the the accolade, uh, an accolade, accolade, accolade served as the henchman of evil Undertaker, and he had this to say right here. I was just uncomfortable with the whole presentation. Bischoff said, "I don't want to say blas- blasphemy, blasphemy, but to use religion as a as a premise." A premise like in in professional writing like is just too uncomfortable like for me to be behind, regardless of how well it was done. I get it. It was very consistent with what WWE was doing, kind of breaking the mode, like when all their programming in the 90s was kiddie programming. Like now they were going their 18 to 49 year old demo, going to extremes to get their attention, much like Howard Stern did with Shock Jock. I understand it, but it doesn't make it comfortable for me. Bischoff then pointed to the recent controversial angle in AEW involving MJF and Juice Robinson, which was perceived to be an intent into like antisemitic antisemitic by many fans. It back it backfired. I don't think that storylines is even alive today. Like it's backfired. I Like he said, like yeah, it's backfired. I don't think that storylines yeah is even alive today. Although AEW ex, excess even though AEW's excess use of the term the devil is another MJF related storyline, doesn't make Bischoff uncomfortable. He feels that AEW is it's pushed itself into a corner by taking too long to unveil the mystery uh, assailants. The longer it goes, the more in, in, anticlimactic anticlimactic like it's gonna be. Bischoff added. And what do you think about Eric Bischoff? Like about not what do you think about Eric Bischoff not trying to mix religion with professional wrestling? And do you think it's the best decision? Not best. I said, do you think it would be the best decision for wrestling creators to take this advice from the former WCW president and WWE Monday Night Raw general manager? Now let me know down in the comments below. And also, excuse me, what's your thoughts on, let's see. And also, what's your thoughts on Eric Bischoff have another critical opinion on another critical opinion on AEW again, but this time it kind of makes sense for them stalling this mystery devil, like who's the assailant, like, and the culprit who's been attacking the wrestlers backstage with his devil goons and stole MJF's mask. I noticed, and I kind of noticed, like, when MJF got hit in the head with a back of the head with a beer bottle, like, I kind of noticed that too, like a fan on Twitter did, when he said, like, he wasn't bleeding when he got hit in the back of the head, which it may or may not be a sign that it could may or may not be a sign, but then again, could be a sign he could be the devil, but I don't think he would, because one, he admitted that someone stole his devil mask, like soon after when the devil revealed himself, and two, like a guy in the devil mask always shows up when MJF at least expected. Three, MJF said, like, whoever under his devil mask, he's gonna take the mask off of it. He's gonna take the mask back, and he's gonna send him back to hell where he belongs. Well, he didn't. I'll say need to say where he belongs. I'll say more likely, send him back down to hell, like send him back to hell, like just that word, of course. But yeah. But we're gonna move on to the next wrestling news. We have some Mickie James news of reacting to Randy Orton giving her husband Nick Aldis an RKO on SmackDown last Friday. Mickie James wasn't too happy with what happened to her husband. Like, WWE SmackDown general manager Nick Aldis 2 weeks ago on the Blue brand, a weekly show on the December 8th episode of Return Randy Orton was being scouted by Aldis and the Raw GM Adam Pearce. After he picked SmackDown, Orton gave an RKO on his new boss. This past week, Orton paid his $50 fine and another $50 for a future attack on the SmackDown SmackDown GM. Mickie James shared her thoughts about the attack on the latest episode on the Busted Open Radio. And she said, "I do not understand. Like, actually, I'm a little disappointed," said James. "I was upset, although it's very Randy Orton esque, yeah, or it's Randy or Randy Esky. I'll say, let me if I pronounce that correctly. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments down below. But anyways, Randy Esky. You know, like, should have seen it coming. Nick really, he was just trying to do good business. Everyone loved it, apparently, but I was upset because, I felt like I was excited to see Randy back. I even helped come up with a really great T-shirt idea for Randy Randaddy. I thought it was going to be over. I thought we were going to make mega money together. It was going to be great, but then he hit my husband with an RKO after he signed the paperwork. I don't know why. Like, why didn't you get Adam? Like, should have RKO. He should have RKO'd Adam, which she said. Excuse me. Okay, sorry. It's a little minor technical difficulties, but anyways. Maybe I should reread that, of course. So I don't know why. Why. Like didn't you get Adam? Should have RKO'd Adam. And what are your thoughts about her coming up with an idea of making T-shirts that you could possibly could have bought them into like wrestling websites like WWEshop.com or even Pro Wrestling Tees. But yeah, which that would be a great idea. If I start collecting novelty wrestling shirts, I probably would definitely get that Granddaddy shirt because that would sound or even that would even look really great. Of course, yeah, onto the Viper himself. But yeah, that would even look great on the Viper himself. Like, and that would be very cool to own a shirt like that. As much as his Viper shirts and even RKO shirts from the past decades, if not from the past decades of being the Viper, of course. And what's your thoughts about her being upset and not happy with Orton, RKO, and her husband, just because you just do it because it's a Randy Eski, yeah, Randy Eski, yeah. If I got it correctly, right, but anyways, yeah. Like luckily, Mickey James wasn't there to try to help out her husband. Otherwise, she would have been the 8th at the time. Like she'll be the 8th woman to be RKO by the Viper. But I would say if he gets Rhea Ripley first, then that'll make her 9. And then all I need is one more women's wrestler to get RKO with the 10. And I can think of any other women's wrestlers except for one that could possibly be number 10. But that'll be a story for another day. But anyways, the former WWE Women's Champion later noted how at the time of the attack, Aldous was wearing an expensive custom-made suit, and she wasn't happy. It got torn. Aldous became torn. Aldous became the SmackDown GM in October. In a few weeks later, after 18 months away from the ring, Orton made his return at WWE Survivor Series War Games in 2023. Yeah, y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Do you think it's very funny, or do you agree with Mickey James? This course is it's a course of him RKOing anybody at any moment is going a little bit too much, which I don't think it's too much. I think it was perfect, like because it's all part of Randy Orton's shtick. Like, so it's not like he didn't got that angry about it. Only just have him pay a fine because because like even though he should have suspended him, but he knew he didn't did any much damage. It's only torn his suit, so that's why he only gave him a $50,000 fine, which Randy Orton gave him $100,000. This is where Nick Aldis was like Randy, this is $100,000. I said 50, and this is where Randy Orton's like, I know, like the other 50 is for the next time if I ever do it again. This is where Nick Aldis is worrying, like. And I hope we don't come up with a bigger punishment for Randy Orton for because I'll to the point that it'll be too big of a bite that he cannot even chew. But yeah, we're gonna see about that later on. Like if he ever try to attempt to do an RKO onto Nick Aldis again, of course. Next up, we got some reasons why Thunder Rosa wishes AEW's women's division had a star like Christian Cage. Christian Cage has been one of the most dastardly heels in all of professional pro wrestling, I should say. Yeah, that's what it says. Says on his article, of course. His underhanded tactics and statistic promos have earned plenty of boos from the audience and critical adulation online. The 50-year-old has taken the TNT Championship to new heights throughout his reign, producing entertaining feuds with the likes of Darby Allin and Adam Copeland, with adding veteran experience to the AEW locker room. Cage's influence at the top of the card has allowed younger stars such as Nick Wayne to grow into their roles. According to former AEW Women's Champion Thunder Rosa on a recent episode of the Busted Open Radio, the promotion's women's division could benefit from a similar scenario. Like she said, I love Christian and the development of what Christian has done in the last 6 months, using new talent to help the storyline makes it so interesting, she said. I wish we had the opportunity to have veteran females who can do that for the women's division a lot more to the point, and where it's interesting to watch, and it's different. We have stars that are on rise, but when you can create things such as what Christian Cage is doing, I just imagine how much more interesting it would be. It would be the stories have a lot more depth. It's a lot more complicated, and we have the opportunity to do that. We have the great veterans in our locker room. And what are your thoughts about this? From Thunder Rosa in this Busted Open Radio interview? And do you think that AEW needs someone like a Christian Cage in a excuse me? Do you think they'll have someone like a Christian Cage in the women's division, and perhaps even making fun of young women about their parents being dead, perhaps. Which I would say I don't know who could possibly play that role, but I say I know who they would make fun of. The first one that'd be in the ring that that had a parent that sadly passed away not that long ago. But I'm not gonna name no names, but I would say I know exactly who could they would target at if they decide to join AEW in their women's division. But yeah, and do you think that would help develop and help make the women's division in AEW grow, and it'll be more something that's worthwhile? Which my boy Plana thinks that Thunder Rosa would be killing it in the women's division, which she did for the past couple of years, but I haven't seen her wrestle in over a year. So, but I haven't seen her since like at the end of summer, like at the end of the summertime at AEW Collision, which it looked like she was about to be some kind of a mainstay, on AEW Collision, just like the likes of CM Punk and Andrade El Idolo before CM Punk got released because he had some very, very heated arguments with Jack Perry, with them fighting, fighting each other, and then with because Jungle Boy Jack Perry wanted to use real glass, and CM Punk thought it was a horrible idea, and then that's when he did the real glass thing and told him to go cry him a river. But also, yeah, Thunder Rosa cited her on-screen storyline on NWA programming with former WWE champion Melina a number of years ago as a perfect example of what the women's division needs, while also putting over the emergence of Julia Hart and Sky Blue as future stars with the company. And I don't know about which. I'm not sure if any young women's wrestler in AEW has a deceased parent that could play a role into this women's wrestler that could be like a women's version of Christian Cage, which that'll probably be a while because it's easy said than done because we couldn't find a wrestler, even if find a women's wrestler that could be just like a Christian Cage, like with him being this evil and I'll say what's this like this evil and maniacal heel that he is, trying to manipulate the young wrestlers of being having him as a father figure rather than being mentored by well-established wrestlers. I was worried about having making fun of them. The wrestlers that he makes that he doesn't make fun of their father being dead because most of them are not passed away. They're still here on the earth, but yeah, Chris. But yeah, who you think and who you think could play that role into the women's division? And even if there's plenty of women that had deceased parents, like who would they target first? Like even if they did found a Christian Cage, you SNA fans, let me know about that in the comments section right down below. And what your thoughts about Thunder Rosa mentioning that, and even using an example about how her and Melina how to do it. But even though I didn't really got a chance to read that because that was in another story onto the article, like Melina, how to her and Melina showed how they improved the women's division by developing the women and the young women into how to be a very successful wrestling star by mentoring them on how to how to be talented and on the mic and everything, like how to get it right and tell a story. Like whether if you're on a promo segment or wrestling in the ring, like doing things that would what you'll be called to do when you're in a wrestling promotion, basically. But yeah, we're gonna move on to back to WWE, which is some backstage news on whether WWE talent will get time off for Christmas under new regime. The holiday season is here, and it's looking good for WWE superstars who want a little vacation, time away from the ring and spotlight. Fightful Select is reporting that under the new regime of Paul Triple H Levesque, uh, talent will talent will be getting some time off for Christmas. Talent who spoke with Fightful revealed that they will have a week off, which should should be between December 19th and December 25th. There's no events like scheduled between those days, and WWE's holiday tour is set to restart on uh, Tuesday, December 6th, which it has upcoming SmackDown event in Green Bay, Wisconsin, is reportedly going to be a double. Is going to be a double taping. Fightful also asked sources within the company if the Raw scheduled for December 18th in Des Moines, Iowa. Des Moines, Iowa is going to be double taped. Like however, they are still awaiting confirmation on the matter of the time of this writing. Like last year, the December 26th episode of Raw saw WWE host a best the best show the best the best of the best of show, while the year before that SmackDown that SmackDown show showed the episode like the episode which aired on December 24th, 2021 was taped ahead of time. It's worth noting that one of the last times that WWE held a live show on Christmas was in 2017 for Raw. Like the the episode that year saw Seth Rollins and Jason Jordan, who has since retired from in ring action, became the new Raw Tag Team Champions after after defeating the former WWE star and current AEW star Claudio Castagnoli and Sheamus in the main event of that show, which they were the bar at the time. Also saw John Cena in action against former star Elias. Which that was 6 years ago, since they held a live show of WWE, which was Monday Night Raw. The last time it was on Christmas, Christmas was on a Monday. And the last time the Monday was on Christmas, but I believe it probably would be pre-taped. But either way, I mean, unless they have it live, it depends. But if it's gonna be pre-taped, then I'm not gonna be doing SNA podcast review for Monday Night Raw, even though it will probably be interesting to see a Raw, like a special Christmas edition of Monday Night Raw, like this in the holiday season. But if it's pre-taped, then we're gonna be already knowing what's gonna happen. There's gonna be some spoilers. I was gonna take the week off and won't be doing no Raw or SmackDown, NXT, Dynamite, and Rampage review until the following week in the beginning of the new year. But I think if it's gonna be pre-taped, which I'm assuming is going to be, then I'm gonna give it a week off until the following week on the new year, like in the New Year's edition, like the first ever 2024 edition of the SNA podcast of the Monday Night Raw review. But yeah, what do you think? It's gonna be pre-taped, or do you think it's gonna be live like on 2017, which was the last time they had a live Raw event on in 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 the holiday season, like the same day as Christmas, which I remember watching that, but it was probably like a few days afterwards, like because I was watching it on my mom's phone, like, and it was Jason Jordan and Seth Rollins taking on Sheamus and then Cesaro, which now he's going by the name Claudio Castagnoli. But yeah, let me know in the comments down below what's WWE's plans for what they're gonna schedule Monday Night Raw in, and we're gonna end this video with some Rob Van Dam news. List 3 AEW stars among current wrestlers he'd like to face. Rob Van Dam has turned up a few times on AEW television throughout 2023, competing on his own and in a tag team alongside Hook. While the ECW veteran hasn't signed an official contract with the company, he and Tony Khan have made it clear they're opening to working together again. And RVD has his sights on several familiar faces to work with. While speaking on to his one-of-a-kind podcast, Rob Van Dam had to say this: "I would like to wrestle some of the current wrestlers that I've wrestled before, like Chris Jericho or maybe even Christian. I know I'd have a kiss-ass match like with those guys." He said, I'd have a good match with anybody anyway. John Moxley is another wrestler that he has mixed it up with in the past, like from his second run in WWE, of course. And he believes they had good matches together. However, a lot of fans gravitate towards those who have similar styles to him when thinking about potential matches for him in the future. While RVD made it clear that he and Sabu don't do fantasy matches, nor do they think about them. He is aware of several performers who could mesh well with what he does inside the ring. And he also had to say this: what the other wrestlers do like to wrestle, including a WWE star. He said, "I think Ricochet is cool. He's fun to watch. like RVD said, like like, and even Pentagon's brother Ray Phoenix. Pentagon's brother Ray Phoenix, he's always doing something that outdoes whatever we saw last time. He's extreme. These guys are entertaining. When I was like, yeah, especially when they're on that top rope doing incredible stuff right off and hitting some springboard moonsaults or shooting star press, and even Ray Phoenix running on the top ropes El Hijo Vikingo and Penta. And let's see. And it says, Rob, and RVD has mainly been used as a tag team performer in recent AEW appearances, and he even came up with a name for his partnership with Hook, which is Smoke and Choke. It sounds like a very fantastically great name, by the way, because considering he smokes while Hook makes his opponents choke out into his red room in AEW. Which I'll say, even become a tag team, he should keep that in mind and even trademark it and make it as their official tag team name in the AEW roster, or even any other wrestling promotion, like whether if it's WWE or independent wrestling company, or like ZCW or GCW or PWG or anywhere like that, or even TNA or even New Japan Pro Wrestling too. But he said this could be a sign that a run along with the FTW champion is where his future lies within AEW if he is to return. But I'll say it's a full-time base, like I say, but that might be the case if he ever make his return to AEW. He'll be likely to sign a full-time deal into and have a little run, even if it's like the 2 or 3 year deal into this run with AEW, who'll probably do so if he ever makes a return with the All Elite Wrestling Company. And even we'll have this tag team and even the name too. That sounds very perfect and great, like for this team, like with Hook and RVD, Smoke and Choke. Which, I mean, it might sound a little bit cringy to other fans, but to me, I think it sounds perfect because it sounds true and it's true and it sounds like something that they would do anyways. Like even if even if RVD does smoke, like you probably would say that because he would choke on, like when he smokes, like he does the little candies. But yeah, like he does that. Like even if because like for the fact that if he's not careful smoking it too hard, he could start choking and coughing like. Like even if Hook doesn't make his opponents choke out with the red room, I would say there'll still be a perfect name to it. But that's the thing is like he made it guaranteed into a name. Like saying he's thinking of ideas of coming up with a tag team name if he ever signed a deal with AEW and started an alliance, a duo alliance with the son of his fellow WWE. I mean not WWE is a also WWE, but originally ECW colleague Taz, which he's a commentator now in AEW, along with Excalibur and Tony Schiavone. And usually Jim Ross will be there with him, but he's gonna be out of the action of calling the action for a while. So I think it's gonna be Excalibur gonna be the head commentator that's gonna be calling the action of AEW programming. But yeah, what's your thoughts about RVD said about having this fair share of wrestlers that he want to wrestle again, like the likes of Christian and Jericho, like the two guys that he faced in the past in WWE, and he even was impressed with the likes of Ray Phoenix and Ricochet. Well, and do you think he's going to have dream matches with those guys as well? Well, just let us know in the comments down below on what you think on what's the status of Rob Van Dam, of him as a professional wrestler. And do you think he should sign with AEW, or do you think he should have a final run with WWE? Leave your comments down below. And this is the end of, yes sir and ma'am, this is the end of your video, the end of the video of the Wildest wrestling news, stories, and rumors that you SNA fans need to know from the Wrestling Inc. My apologies, Wrestling Inc. Article, which we talked about everything from the Wildest news, whether it's from interviews, podcasts, or anything of the matter about their opinions of wrestlers you see on AEW, WWE, or the WWE wrestlers or AEW wrestlers that talking about like their time in their companies, or even wrestlers about like their arch rivals, wrestling their arch rivals, or even anything about which dream opponents they would want to wrestle, or whatever the scenario may be. Like from the Wrestling Inc. article from on today's wrestling news video on December 10th, 2023. And also, which one was your favorite into this list on today's wrestling news? Leave a comment below and give me your opinion. And also, if you like this video so much, click on a huge thumbs up, subscribe, click the bell notification so you can be the first one to know when I upload my latest video. Now, I'm not sure if I'm going to be making a video. If I don't make a video, I'm going to give an update like on my schedules. But for now, I'm going to put the wrestling news video, which I'm not sure if it will be a guaranteed. I'm not sure about that yet, but I will put a wrestling news video anyways, which will be episode 169 of the wrestling news, like part 63, where I'll be talking about the wildest wrestling news, stories, and rumors that you SNA fans need to know on the Ringside News article on December 11th, 2023, which if that doesn't come through, like if there's something that's already on my schedule, because I'm seeing if I'm not be able to not do this, of course, yeah, then I'm gonna delay this to another day, which will be Tuesday. But if I'm not gonna have nothing busy on my schedule tomorrow in the afternoon, then I will gladly do the video, which will be episode 169. But if not, it will be episode 171, because either way, I'm gonna be making my Raw review, which will be part 18 of the latest episode of Monday Night Raw, and we're gonna see CM Punk like making his decision on which brand he's gonna sign: Raw, SmackDown, maybe even NXT, perhaps, because he even made an appearance yesterday with Shawn Michaels. But I think it will be either Raw or SmackDown, but perhaps it'll be Raw. Like, one, he'll be there on Raw. Two, so it could be a reason. And two, he has some unfinished business he had to take care of with CM Punk, which Randy Orton has unfinished business with Roman Reigns already. So he's going to leave Randy Orton to that, and he'll worry about Reigns later. And also he has LA Knight on his back as well, which they're going to be fighting over that spot, for the Royal Rumble, of trying to become the new undisputed WWE Universal Champion against Roman Reigns, which I'm not sure if that will happen. For the fact that if Roman Reigns planning on going to be losing at WrestleMania 40. But we're going to see plenty of stuff. I wouldn't be too surprised, but I wouldn't mind that if either man did dethrone Roman Reigns, I'll say especially Randy Orton, because it still would tell a story like with Orton, like with his friendship with Cody Rhodes for over a decade and a half. And if Cody Rhodes main events either of the nights facing Randy Orton, we could see him defeating his longtime best friend and finishing the story. But I would kind of more prefer to see him face Roman Reigns, and they can be feuding over for the title. It will be Orton and Cody Rhodes feuding for the WWE title on SmackDown in 2024. But yeah, what's your thoughts on that? What's your favorite things? What do you think else is gonna happen on Raw? Like including the WWE Undisputed Tag Team Championships will be on the line with the Judgment Day taking on the Creed brothers. Like, and see who's gonna walk out, or not become, more like is the Creed brothers gonna become the new champions, or is the Judgment Day gonna retain? It could go either way. But I'd say maybe the Judgment Day could retain the championships and retain their dominance and have something else to brag about, like defeating the undefeated main roster, the upcoming main roster call up of the Creed brothers, until they lose the title to another tag team, and then they'll split up eventually. Eventually, with Damian Priest getting kicked out of the group, turning him back into a babyface, and be feuding with the Judgment Day. And also, I would say, but then again, we could see the Creed brothers could win the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships and remain their undefeated winning streak on Raw. And then we could see the Judgment Day kicking Damian Priest right off of the black and purple faction, I should say, the black and purple faction, with them saying like, you're no use, with Damian Priest taking a pin, and they start blaming him, saying like, you're no use, like you're the weakest link of our group, and you're holding us back. And then this is where they start attacking him and start beating him up and kicking it. And then now confirmed that he's gonna turn babyface as soon as he try to seek some revenge on the following week. Also, we have Rhea Ripley against Maxine Dupree, which it's not for the championship, but it's like some kind of a non-title match. Like, it shows that she could be the next contender. It could show that she could be possibly the next contender in the future match. And we also have Becky Lynch, and it also says Becky Lynch is going to be in the in-ring promo. Perhaps she's going to call Nia Jax into a match, like whether it's tonight or even next week. And they never settle any scores, because I don't think they ever wrestle in a one-on-one match, at least. Which I think that's been way past overdue from the past 5 or even 4 years, 4 or 5 years. It's way past overdue, and it needs to be settled. But yeah, let me know when that match could possibly happen as well in the comments down below. And do you think Maxine Dupree has what it takes to be a future women's champion, like by taking on the Eradicator? Or do you think it's going to be some kind of a complete squash match, which I'm not going to underestimate the former leader of Maximum Male Models? I'm not going to rule that out. Like, that she's going to be. I'm not going to rule that out that she could bring the fight to Rhea Ripley, even if Rhea Ripley gets the win from the first female member of the Alpha Academy, of course. And yeah, let me know all about that in the comments down below. And also, yeah, make sure you check out all my videos, and hopefully y'all have a great Sunday. I've been your host, Super Ninja Austin, on this 168 episode of the SNA podcast. And I'll see you all on my next video, like tomorrow, anytime tomorrow, like wherever the update may be. But until we meet again, Super Ninja Austin, the assassin, out. Thank you for watching my wrestling news video, and I'll see you again. Bye-bye, my SNA fans. Thank you for watching.